Ready to begin. Thank you.
Morning. I'll call the meeting of the Bi-State Development Board of Commissioners meeting to order Friday, February the 17th, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. Myra, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Simmons,
Present.
Commissioner Winmiller,
Present.
Commissioner Galladay,
Here.
Commissioner Costello, Commissioner Cox,
Here.
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Moore,
Present.
Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Beach,
Here.
Commissioner Gladney,
Present.
and once again, Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
We have a quorum, and you may proceed.
Fine, thank you, Myra. Was there any public comment cards received?
Yes, we received 6 public comments. The first is from Shannon Vila regarding the topic of the Metro Dashboard for Metrics and Transparency. We received a comment from Katina Howard regarding transit funding. We received a comment from Antonian Johnson regarding the budget. We received a comment from Misty Jordan regarding safety, one from Reginald Howard regarding funding for the American Rescue Plan, and we received a comment from Alicia Richardson regarding equitable transit service in North County. It should be noted that all comments were distributed to the commissioners prior to the meeting. In addition, the comments in their entirety are contained in the online meeting materials and will be included in the minutes from today's meeting.
Fine, thank you. The minutes from the November 18th, 2022 Board of Commissioners open meeting have been provided for the review by the board. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes and approve.
So moved.
Have a
Second.
second? And a roll call, please.
A voice vote would be sufficient.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. The minutes from the January 12th, 2023 special meeting of the Board of Commissioners open meeting have been provided for review. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, ayes have it. Mr. Roach, you have any comments, please?
I do. Thank you, Chair. First of all, later on today, I want to thank both Chuck Stewart and his negotiating team, and of course, the negotiating team with 788. They've been meeting many times, going through contract proposals. Commissioners, it takes a long time and a lot of effort to move through these negotiations. I want to thank both sides. In the end, what we want to come to is a good, fair and equitable contract. I am hopeful that we are close to that, but I want to thank both teams for grinding through the details of that contract. This is hard work. I want to assure the commissioners that we are working very hard, both from our side, and our partners at 788 have been coming to the table and working hard as well. So I just want to thank everybody for that effort and just let the commissioners know that we are going to put an offer in front of ATU later on this morning from Chuck, who is on point in those negotiations. Also, I emailed you about a camera fix associated with our 1000 series cars. Because of the age of those cars and because we have been adding some electronic componentry to the cars aimed at making them safer, including new camera systems and, for instance, collision avoidance type materials. Unfortunately, we're having some problems with a grounding wire capacity. And we have, under my call, we had to pull those off of the line for a period of time. But I am hopeful as of this morning that we are working towards a solution that includes enhancing those grounding wires and adding what is a voltage conditioning component. Unfortunately, these components are slow to come, but we need to have a rigorous fix so that these cars are still operating fully for the public within the next couple of years as we wait to replace them. And actually, the bids on those new vehicles will be out at the end of the month for us to do an evaluation. So I am hopeful that we are putting a fix that makes sense. I want to thank the public for being patient with us as we've had to run some single car consists during this period of time. We are working very hard to get those all back online, and I am hopeful that we now have a proposed fix that, although it will take some time, we will have those Series 1000 cars back in within the next couple of weeks. Okay. Also, we are moving into what is called the triennial FTA audit review period. Most of staff went through orientation meetings with FTA that happened last week. This is every 3 years, FTA does a very, very rigorous review of all of our transit functions. And I attended some of those meetings. Most staff attended the sections that were relevant to their area of expertise, but we very much look forward to that. And this is the normal audit reviews that we go through here. They take a lot of time and effort, but they provide the assurance to the public that we are doing everything that we can to be transparent and we are stewarding the public money appropriately. Also, very exciting news is Northside Southside Metrolink expansion continues to move very expeditiously. I'm happy to report that the focus on the Jefferson alignment in the city is moving well. We are working very hard with AECom on pricing and doing ridership studies with that alignment, and we expect some of those fundamental numbers to be out in the spring of this year. This will clear the way for us for submitting to the federal government for a new starts application in the city. Not exactly sure on that timing yet, but the routing looks very good and the engagement by the city is very, very positive. But also in the county, AECom is also doing an alternatives analysis of the routing as that would then move out to the county. The county recently announced 4 preliminary routes out in North County. They look very, very promising. And now those will be vetted through essentially a public process, and the county is very engaged, and that's moving well. Also, I want to congratulations to, of course, St. Clair County Transit District, as the expansion out to Scott Air Force Base also seems to be moving very well. I know some preliminary bids were received from the district on some of the fundamental earthwork. I'm very excited to say that we're actually moving dirt in Illinois in expansion of the system. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just would find that it's a good time for transit in Missouri and Illinois. We are looking to changing the system so that it responds to the current economics. I'm optimistic about this kind of a change. This is what we need to do. We are in a post-pandemic era, and that means that our fundamental traffic patterns will be changing. I know all of you see the results of those changes all around us every single day. But what we need to think is how we build our region differently. And we're doing that at Metro Transit. We're doing that in conjunction with our partners in Illinois and St. Clair County Transit District, our partners with the leadership in the St. Louis City, and of course, St. Louis County as well. I'm happy to tell you that all of those partners are engaged in helping us come to a solution. That's all I have this morning. Thank you, Chairman.
Fine. Is there any questions for Mr. Roach?
One question. Toby, thanks for the report. I did have a question about how I know you were being sort of open-ended about when we're going to be able to move to two cars again on the trains. I've had some folks talk to me about particularly the Central West End station around rush hour in the evening. that being a problem when that's only a single car. So I don't know whether or not there's any potential adjustment, but certainly I would ask that you keep track of the crowds on the platforms when it comes to the single cars versus double cars. And I know it's not going to be long in terms of an inconvenience, but that's a particularly crowded station, particularly large numbers of people getting on between 4 and 6. And so single cars at that time is really problematic.
So, Commissioner, it certainly is. And what specifically the Metrolink team is doing is trying to look at some of that ridership data and insert double cars in particular for those particularly troublesome times. Just so everybody knows, there are double cars out on the system. Of course, it's a moving system, and where we think we'll still have some singles as we start to move more into the fleet and the repairs are made. We'll obviously move into where we have these points of ridership. But Commissioner Windmiller, you're absolutely right that our biggest tension point right now is indeed around Blue Line trains specifically, and in the I call it an early rush. Our evening rush hour in St. Louis tends to happen early, close to 4 o'clock, and so we are seeing some pressure on that specific load. So I'll ask the team to be sure if they can insert that double car at that point as soon as possible to try to give our customers better service. But that's absolutely factual. Thank you.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other questions for Toby? Hearing none, moving right along. Item number 7, the report of the Operations Committee. Commissioner Windmiller.
Good morning, everyone. A virtual meeting of the Operations Committee was held on January 27th, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. The draft minutes of that meeting have been provided for you in the meeting materials under item number 7. The Operations Committee is recommending approval of 3 items which are noted on today's agenda as consent agenda item number 11. The first is the contract modification for the sole source contract with Motorola Solutions to upgrade the obsolete dispatch console network, which is resolution 1250. The second is a contract modification for the CBDR public address customer information system upgrades security announcements proposal. That's resolution 1251. And the third is a contract award for the electronic fare collection system, resolution 1252. In addition, at the January meeting, an operations report, including a workforce update, was provided by Charles Stewart, Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer for Metro Transit. We did not hold an executive session of the Operations Committee at the October meeting, so that concludes my report of the Operations Committee.
Thank you. Next, report the Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee. Commissioner Beach.
Thank you. A virtual meeting of the Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee was held on January 27, 2023, immediately following the Operations Committee meeting. The draft minutes of that meeting are included in your meeting materials under item 8. The AFA Committee is introducing one item on the consent agenda for consideration today with the committee's recommendation of approval. That item is item number 11. D, contract approval, compensation study, resolution 1253. Tammy Fulbright, Executive Vice President and CFO, also gave a presentation at the January committee meeting regarding the fiscal year 2024 operating and capital budgets. This item is also on today's agenda for approval under item 12. At the January committee meeting, several informational meetings were presented to the committee, including internal audit follow-up summary for the second quarter, fiscal year 2023, internal audit status report, second quarter of fiscal year 2023, internal audit state safety oversight status report, fourth quarter, calendar year 2022, the 2022 pension valuations update, the treasurer's report, the treasury safekeeping quarterly accounts ending January 30th, 2022, financial statements, procurement report, and executive session was not held at the January committee meeting. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report for the AFA committee.
Very good, thank you. Moving on, the report of the Safety and Security meeting. I'll give that report. A virtual meeting of the Safety and Security Committee was held on January the 12th, 2023 at 8:45 a.m. immediately following a special meeting of the Board of Commissioners. The draft minutes of that meeting are included in the board packet today under item number 9. At the January committee meeting, an update was provided by Kevin Scott, General Manager of Security, regarding the security platform project. An executive session was not held at that meeting. This concludes my report of the Safety and Security Committee meeting. Item number 10, adjustment of the consent agenda. If there are any adjustments to the consent agenda, we'll hear them now. Item number 11, if there are no adjustments to the consent agenda, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as referenced in the committee reports and as outlined on the agenda.
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 12, by State Development Operating and Capital Budget Resolution number 1254 and Grant Resolution number 1255 through number 1261. And Tammy Fulbright, you have an update for us?
Yeah, these are just presented as approval for the 2024 through 2026 budget for the capital and then the 2024 operating budget. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about the budget.
Any questions for Tammy at this time? Hearing none, I need a motion to accept this.
So moved.
In a second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, ayes have it. Mr. Roach, any unscheduled business?
I have none, Chair. Thank you.
Good, good. Operations report, Mr. Stewart.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have no real update for the workforce update or the system performance reports that we reviewed in committee a few weeks ago. We continue to have the challenge of matching up our service with our resources in terms of personnel. As I reported then, we're still over 200 bus operators short. As a result of that, we've been making these service changes. We made a service change in November. And since that service change, our performance has improved in terms of missed trips. We've gone from over 6% down to closer to 2% in that time period. We are planning another service change in March. This will make significant changes in tweaking things in Illinois and adding an additional line. In Missouri, we will be focused on making sure that our system is aligned in terms of MetroLink and MetroBus. So again, it's another tweak toward performance in our service area. Okay. But you know, I want to talk to you about a couple other things. We are planning a service area change for Colorado that is going to take place in April. We're currently reaching out to our usual Colorado customers. What we're doing is we're going to shrink the polygon. Every time we make a service change with our fixed route, we should make a change to our Colorado route. We are required to provide Colorado service within 3/4 mile of our fixed route service. We've not made those changes to Colorado yet. We just continue to let them drift out. So we're pulling them in. I've been reporting in recent months 16,000 caller ride service requests that we're not able to complete. This is an effort to put the service in the areas where it's needed and provide it to the individuals that are qualified under ADA certification. So that's another move for us to right-size our organization. Lastly, I'd like to talk to you about our union situation. Mr. Roach has already talked about ACU to some degree. As you know, we reached an agreement with IBEW, and we have implemented that agreement. We have had some issues initially with retro pay. I think we got those things fixed now. ACU, we've been working with the ACU executive team, their officers for basically since May of last year. We extended their contract until today, February 17th, trying to reach an agreement. Not reaching agreement at this point means that we owe them another 1% retroactive to July, and we are in the process of making that payment right now. But more importantly, we are going to make an offer to ATU today. We're making an offer today. We think it's a very fair offer. We've been working very hard. They have been working very hard in terms of trying to reach agreement. This is the largest financial package that we have presented in the last 10 years. Okay? So it is not insignificant. We are focused on providing incentives to our operators such that they will perform the work that we need them to perform and the time periods we need them to perform it in the areas that we need it performed. We're giving them the same basic wage increase that we gave to IBEW, but based on the incentives that we are putting into this contract, individual operators could have an opportunity to make as much as a 7% increase over the base wage if they are willing to perform the services that we need to perform. We need to have perform. We're trying to match it up. They have, of course, requested additional across the board increases. We feel that it is to the best of our benefit as a company to try to focus wages on areas where we need help in our operations. So we're also making that offer today. It will significantly increase driver take-home pay. We're accelerating the step progression at the top salary. We have a new quarterly attendance incentive, longevity incentive. Any of our loyal metro operators with 18 years of service or more will get an automatic incentive and recognition of that service. We're expanding bereavement time, and we are basically doing things to help us to attract and retain new talent. So I think we have put together a very comprehensive package. I look forward to presenting this package to the 788 executive team later this morning. And I hope that we can continue to work through this process and reach an agreement on the contract. So I would be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Stewart?
I have one on the service change, service cut, both the November ones and the ones that are coming up in March.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for your report. And then it's good to hear that the number of missed trips was down from about 6% to 2%. Are these March changes coming? Are they changes or are they more cuts? And then to get to the broader thing that we've mentioned before in some of these meetings about sort of right sizing the organization for the number of operators that we have and that we are going to have, because I understand that's been an issue for decades, not having the full number. So where are we on that path of getting us a service, getting us a service schedule and a service set that actually meets with our with our capabilities from an operator and equipment standpoint? Are we going to need more changes or cuts after March, or are we close to getting right sized there, as you mentioned?
So- Thank you, Commissioner, for that question. So actually, the change that took place in March was more of a tweak than a cut. We have had cuts. Every change we're making going forward is less of a cut and more of an opportunity to tweak the system so that we match up our connections with bus and metro links and that kind of thing. So this is another one. So we are about where we need to be with employees at this time to meet this service requirement. We are seeing good news in January in terms of hiring and training. So we may be rounding the corner as it relates to that, but for the next several months, it'll be more about maintaining status quo versus trying to build the system. We're trying to get better at providing the service that we're providing right now.
Great, thank you.
Any other question for Mr. Stewart? If none, Chuck, I'd just like to thank you for your quick response to that issue on that retro pay. The feedback I'm getting is positive, so I really appreciate you jumping right on that.
Well, they deserved it, and we're giving it to them.
Very good, thank you. Moving along, Meyer, we have dates for the future meetings.
Yes, the next Safety and Security Committee meeting will be held on Friday, March 3rd at 8:30 a.m. The next Operations Committee meeting and next Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee meetings will be held on March 17th, beginning at 8:30 a.m. And the next Board of Commissioners meeting will be held on Friday, April 21st, also at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you. Next item, the only items for consideration on executive session agenda are the approval of the minutes of the November 18th, 2022 Board of Commissioners executive session, approval of the minutes of the January 12th, 2023 Board of Commissioners special meeting and executive session, review and approval to release information from executive session minutes, Board of Commissioners and committee meetings, January 2020 through June 2021. If there are no corrections to these minutes and if there's no discussion regarding these minutes, the committee could proceed to vote without going into an executive session. What is your pleasure?
More moves. Second.
Okay, at this time, I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes in the November 18th, 2022 Board of Commissioners executive session as presented as a closed record.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
And a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Winmiller,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Simmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Galladay,
Yes.
Commissioner Gladney,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Beach.
Yes.
The motion passed.
Thank you. This time I need a motion to approve the minutes of the January 12th, 2023 Board of Commissioners special meeting executive session as presented as a closed record.
I so move.
Have a second?
Second.
And a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Galladay,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Winmiller,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yeah.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Beach,
Yes.
Commissioner Gladney,
Aye.
Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
The motion passed.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes from the Board of Commissioners and committee meetings, January 2021 through June 2021, with redactions as presented as open records.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
And a roll call, please.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Winmiller,
Aye.
Commissioner Simmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Galladay,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Beach,
Yes.
Commissioner Gladney.
Aye.
The motion passed.
Thank you. If there's no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Good morning.
you.
Thank you very much, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.